In this tutorial, we'll learn about multiple undo feature and history panel in Photoshop. Undo is one of the most important features in Photoshop because it gives us an opportunity to just undo whatever we did. The amazing aspect here is the awareness that whatever we do is not permanent. This awareness gives us the freedom to experiment and try new things in Photoshop. For example, if we select the image menu and then choose Image Rotation and flip this canvas horizontally, we can easily undo it if we go to the Edit menu and click on the Undo button. Or we can simply use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Z to undo this. As you can see, on the right side, we also have a history panel, and if we click on the icon View of the panel, we can see that we'll go ahead and expand it. Every time a command is selected in Photoshop, we'll find that it appears in the history panel. Here we must know that the history panel by default will keep track of 50 different things, which we do before it starts deleting the oldest action. However, we can change that by going under the Edit menu, first to Preferences and then to Performance. We can see that this is where Photoshop will retain the number of history states by default. Let us now move ahead to learn about a few different edits that we can make to this image. We'll start by going under the Image menu and then just selecting the Autotone option. We can see that the command just given has been added to the history panel. Next, let's go to the Filter menu and select Stylize and then Oil Paint option. Now we'll accept the default values so as to give a painterly quality to the image. We'll add another filter, this time underneath Stylize. Let's choose Solarize. Accept the default options and then choose Image Adjustments and then Invert. By now, we are clear about one thing, that we can go on adding different filters or choosing different commands. Now let's choose Distort and then Ripple. Then we'll choose Image, Adjustments and then Hue and Saturation, and then click on the Colorize option. Now if we wish to go back a few steps, we can do so with the help of keyboard shortcuts, the history panel, or by using the Edit menu. If we are using the Edit menu, we can undo the most recent command done, or use the Step Backward option and move further back in time. As we go on choosing Step Backwards continuously, we find that we are in fact moving back through the history panel. Similarly, we can use the Step Forward command and move a step forward too. However, we can see that both Step Backward and Step Forward has their respective distinct keyboard shortcuts. If we expand our history panel a little, we can see all our steps. And by just clicking on a specific step, we can directly go to that specific point in history. And in case we want to rework with an image, we should just close the file without saving and then reopen it. Another way of doing this is by choosing Revert under the File menu. Actually, the easiest approach is to just click on the initial snapshot that's created when we open the document in the history panel. Now, an important point to know here is that the history panel is, by default, linear. So, for example, if we go to the Oil Paint or Wave, these feature states will be actually removed from the history panel if we apply another command right now. We should be very much aware of this when using the history panel to undo steps. When we go back in time, we are going to that particular state. And if we move forward, Photoshop will just ignore all the other states here. And when we close the file, the history is removed. Hence, the next time we open the document again, we will find the history starts afresh. Now, as we move ahead, we will discover new ways to work more non-disruptively with filters and other adjustments. However, as we can see, the flexibility to go back in time with the help of multiple undo in the history panel is in itself a great advantage because it allows us to work in a much more flexible environment where we are not hindered from trying something new.